grade and project breakdown. To shift the attention away from grades or points, the results, and onto learning and becoming better writers and students, the process, we will not be using a traditional grading system in our course. Instead of receiving points or letter grades on projects, students will receive a note of exceptional, ready, or revise, not ready yet. In all cases, except for major essay project number 3, students can revise completed projects if they wish to improve their quality or effectiveness. However, if a student receives a note of revise, they must revise, using their own discretion as a writer, my feedback, and/or feedback provided by tutors or other readers to make these revisions. While we will not be using a traditional grading system or points, you should be able to keep track of your progress throughout the semester by using this document. So contained within this document is a breakdown of the various projects and activities we'll be doing this semester, and then an explanation of how those things will be assessed. So this semester we'll be writing 3 major essay projects. We'll be completing 3 major essay projects. Each of those major essay projects has a few components to them. So for example, major essay project number 1, we have draft 1, we have draft 2, we have polished draft, and then the cover letter. So drafts 1 and draft 2, drafts 1 and 2, those are obviously meant to be drafts where the essay is not in its completed form, right? So you will submit your first draft, then I will provide feedback on that first draft. Then using that feedback, you will then compose your second draft. You'll then submit that second draft where I will then provide additional feedback, and then you'll use that additional feedback as well as various other resources to help you compose and submit your polished draft. Now the polished draft is the one that I will assess. I don't call it a final draft because that implies finality. And in many cases that might not be the actual final draft. It's just the polished draft, the one that's been polished up so that it's ready to share with the world, so to speak. So the one that you're ready to share with me and your general readers. And for each of those polished drafts that you submit, so whether it's for major essay project 1, major essay project 2, or major essay project 3, you'll compose a cover letter to go along with that polished draft, which basically explains to me what you were trying to accomplish in your essay, what you were working on, what you think you did really well in the essay, what you think needs a little bit more attention, and how you would like me to focus my feedback when I do go through and assess that polished draft. So once you get your polished draft returned, once I read through your polished draft and have assessed it, you'll find one of 3 notes on it. So this is where the exceptional, ready, and revised, not ready yet comes into play. And I have that explained down here at the end. So a note of exceptional means that the student has surpassed the expectations of the project. Great care has been taken by the student to ensure the piece of writing is exceptional, meaning it stands out from the rest. So in terms of quality and the effort and work put into the essay, all of that stands out from the rest. It's above and beyond the expectations of the project, right? A note of ready means that the student has met the expectations of the project. There are some concerns that could be addressed in a revision, but overall the piece of writing is effectively composed. Revision is optional in this case. So if a student has a note of ready on their polished draft for major essay project 1, for example, but they would really like to revise that again and try to make it an exceptional piece of writing, that student has that option to do so. And I encourage you to take advantage of that, because then you could try to make it an exceptional piece of writing. Now, if a student has a note of revise, not ready yet, that means that the student has not met all the expectations of the project. Some key concerns need to be addressed in a revision in order for the project to be considered complete. And in this case, revision is not optional. So the student does not have the option to revise they need to revise it based on that feedback, based on what I would point out to that student, what they need to focus on in their revision. Now, I want to make it perfectly clear, this does not translate to any sort of grade, right? It doesn't mean that a student, if they have a note of revise not ready yet, it doesn't mean that that is a bad piece of writing or the student didn't do, a good job overall. It just means that that piece of writing is not ready yet. There's still more work to be done. And so I would point that out to that student, say, these are the things that you'll need to accomplish in your revision. Then that student will then complete that revision and submit it, and then I will then assess it again. And a student is perfectly able to make, if they had a note of revise, not ready yet, and then they revised it based on the feedback that I provided, it's perfectly possible to make that an exceptional piece of writing. So any student has the potential to make their piece of writing an exceptional piece of writing. Okay, so let's go back to the breakdown here. So again, that's how I would assess the major essay projects, major essay project 1, 2, and 3. Now the minor projects, what those entail, these are ongoing throughout the semester. The reading response questions, we have 12 sets of those, and those reading response questions will pertain to the various readings we'll do from Everything's an Argument. So a set of reading response questions will accompany a chapter that you will read from Everything's an Argument. Additionally, we'll be completing regular discussion posts. Maybe not every single week, but most of the weeks we'll have a discussion post that you will, or discussion board that you'll post to, and then you'll reply to your colleagues' posts, etc. So that is also considered a minor project, and those are ongoing throughout the semester. Now, even though we're not using points or letter grades in the course itself, I still need to enter letter grades at the end of the semester because that's the way that the college is set up. I have no option or say in that matter. That's just how it's set up. So in order to address that, the work and effort that you put into the course throughout the semester will translate into a letter grade at the end of the semester. And so if you're hoping to earn an A in the course, these are the parameters that you would need to meet in order to earn that A. So if you're looking to earn an A in the course, meaning you're looking to really maximize your efforts in the class and to really get the most you can from the course based on that work, you'll need to have completed all 3 major essay projects, and at least 2 of those major essay projects need to have a note of exceptional on it. Okay, so whether that's major essay project 1, or major essay project 2, or major essay project 3, of these 3, at least 2 of them, in any combination, need to have a note of exceptional. No unsubmitted revisions, so if I ask you to revise something, you will have completed that revision. There's no unsubmitted revisions. All minor projects will have been completed, so all of the reading response questions and all of the discussion posts will be thoroughly completed according to the guidelines. And then active participation needs to have been demonstrated throughout the course, throughout the whole semester. Now I have a little asterisk here because I define what active participation means. Active participation means that the student logs into Canvas on a regular and frequent basis. So that's just one marker of active participation. If you're actually engaged in the course by logging into Canvas on a regular basis and often, to make sure that you're aware of the different responsibilities, you're connected to the course. Regularly and thoroughly completing all weekly activities, readings, and projects by expected deadlines. So whether that's a set of reading response questions, whether that's a discussion post, whether that's submitting a draft for any of the major essay projects, whatever the case might be, you need to be regularly and thoroughly completing those things on time. Now I just want to make a little note about my policy for late work and deadline submissions. So if you're concerned about that, you can find all that information in the course syllabus. And then so on down the line for the various letter grades by the end of the semester. To earn a B, this is the criteria that needs to be met, and I hope nobody's aiming for a C or below that. But all of that criteria is here as well. All right, everyone. I also just want to say, if this seems really confusing, don't worry. I understand that this can be confusing because this is probably very unfamiliar to most of you. And so that's okay. Confusion at this point is natural. That's normal. You're not alone. All right. I promise things will get clearer as the semester gets underway and as you start submitting things, and then I start providing feedback and giving those things back to you guys. It'll make more sense as we go along. But if you do have any questions, you can send me a message on Canvas. So again, that's how I prefer to be contacted, through Canvas, because just I'm more active on Canvas than I am on my campus email account. But you can also send me an email there. All right, everyone. Oh, that's my cat saying goodbye too.